Despídete, que vamos a bajar.
Tócale la mano. My peoples. My peoples. I'm on my way, y'all. I'm on my way. Stay tuned. And have your trash talking game ready. Yeah. My peoples, my peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, y'all. We talking boxing. Oh yeah, we talking boxing. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we started the show a little bit later than usual. It's a holiday today here in the Dominican Republic and whatnot. But here we go, my peoples. Just do boxing is in the building. Bam, MS, JJ's in there. Has Corey B. Come on, my peoples. Agent 17. Yoda. Sai. Come on, y'all. Young Guns. My peoples. Y'all already know, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. It's all love. We're going to talk about the sweet science. We got some great fights coming up. Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson, and Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. Whoa. Whoa, my peoples. We're going to get Devin Brian Norman Jr. first, of course. And I think everybody's super excited about that fight. Y'all think about it. There's a lot of people predicting that Norman Jr. is going to knock Devin Haney out, sleep him. And then there's the people talking about Devin and saying, yo, nah, Devin is gonna cook him. Devin is even gonna make it look easy. He's gonna box him like nobody ever has. So, what say you? What is your prediction? I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I haven't been able to make mine. I have not been able to predict who's gonna win that fight. But I will. I'm gonna make a prediction, but I just haven't been able to. And of course, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. They had been going back and forth on social media. There's been a lot of speculation about whether or not that fight is going to happen. In fact, Teofimo versus Shakur has already been announced for January 31st of next year. And there's people who still don't believe it's going to happen. I've been told by multiple people like, nah, yo, until I see it, I don't believe it. In my opinion, you can already sit down and wait for it because it is going to happen. Shakur want to fight Teo want to fight Shakur, and that's it. They're on a collision course. We're going to get a great showdown with that one. So you have two of the young guns, and I want you to think about this because this doesn't happen too often, but we're getting it now. Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. are both in their late 20s. They're both in their physical prime. And then when you look at Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, they're both in their late 20s, in their physical prime. So you can expect the type of fights that it's not going to be no narrative about, no, this guy was older or this guy wasn't. Nah, you're going to get these guys at their best, at the peak. I'm not going to say necessarily the peak because when you're in your late 20s, there's still a little bit more that you're going to get up here. But as far as physical abilities, man, listen, these are two big fights. And I'm going to tell you guys something. We still don't know what Tank Davis is going to do next. We still don't know. So at the end of the day, a decision is going to be made from him because obviously the Jake Paul thing is not happening. But we don't know the stuff about retirement and all of that. As of right now, that's rumors, my people. We don't know that Tank Davis is going to retire. So he could still be in the mix. But for right now, we're talking about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, and then you got Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. My people's making predictions because those are big fights, both of them. Who are the two that you see coming out victorious in those two fights? JJ's in the house. All these good fights coming up, and nobody talking about Tank. Anybody, that's what happened when the best fight the best. Good time for boxing fans. That's facts. People are super excited because, and then look at the possibility of Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Bruce Ennis. Another one, two young, hungry lions. In that case, both undefeated, and just like Devin and Brian Norman Jr. And when you look at them, also in their late 20s, also that physical peak, that strength. So come on now. JJ's in there. Norman wins and Shakur wins. Ooh. You see, that's what I'm talking about. My brother JJ's in there. He don't beat around the bush with his prediction. He's not going to dance around there and duck it like a lot of you be doing that. A lot of you don't give no prediction and then after the fight, yeah, I knew it was going to go down like that. Give your predictions, my people. What you say after the fight don't matter. I don't want to hear. Oh, I knew that those is the two that was going to win. Nobody want to hear it. JJ's in there has got Brian Norman Jr. and Shakur Stevenson walking out of there with a W. I got Shakur Stevenson beating Teofimo Lopez in a very, very tough, competitive fight that's going to go back and forth. But I think Shakur is going to pull it off at the end, edge it out. I am the last 8. Haney is in A1 shape. That's what made people think about it. That's what made me think about it. That's what makes me hesitant. When they first announced the fight, I was like, nah, man, listen. Norman Jr. gonna sleep him. Brutally. But then I started looking at Devin Haney, man, those training videos that they showing and hearing what they saying, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Let's not disrespect Devin Haney, my peoples. Let's not act like he's the average Joe. Now, I want to say something. Everybody's not gonna agree with me. You know, I was hanging out yesterday with my peoples, Lori Reed, and Mr. Senior Cobbs from Upton Gym, and in the Rice podcast, and he didn't agree with me. He didn't think that Devin is special, like I think he is at least. And y'all know, you know, I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but I will say I see Devin Haney as a very special fighter. And salute to Senior Cobbs and Lori Reed. Much love to you guys for letting me come on the Rice podcast with you. And politics, talk boxing for a little minute. I enjoyed it, man. Look forward to seeing you guys again. Side, Teo can make it competitive till Shakur figures him out. You know, I agree with that. And you know what? I think it'll be competitive throughout the entire fight. It's just that there's things that Shakur can and will do that will offset a lot of the things that Teofimo does. MS, I remember Devin Haney was in spectacular physical condition when he fought Ryan Garcia. And I was left disappointed to see him the way he turned out. But we know why the results were overturned. You can't overlook that. Come on now. JJ's in the house. Norman is craftier than Ryan. No, and listen, the power that Brian Norman Jr. brings to the table, man, that we have to understand it. He's one of those guys, one shot changes everything. That one shot can sleep you, or it can hurt you to the point where you're not coming back from that. The next step is to go to sleep. Underrated Will. Norman for the win. And that video of Devin getting exposed shows all fighters his defect. And people think Norman's slow. And shout out to Upton Gym and Baltimore. Salute, man. Salute. Like I said, man, I appreciate Mr. Senior Cobbs, Mrs. Lori Reed, my peoples. JJ's in the house. Shakur has some nasty traps. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Shakur's going to make it happen. Now, with Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr., is like I told y'all, man, I haven't been able to make a prediction. I know how dangerous Mr. Brian Norman Jr. is. But Devin Haney, my peoples, come on. You can't disrespect him. If you think about it, guys, I want you to think about this. what keeps coming up is the fight with Ryan Garcia. That's what keeps coming up. Lori brought it up, and I was like, man, that's the past. We don't need to be bringing that up. And I understand why people bring it up, but that's one fight, and that's it. You can't judge a fighter by just one fight. And I want to say this. Why? And I was talking about this with Coach Senior Cobbs. Why Devin Haney wasn't able to bounce back, like get hit with that left hook and then keep getting hit with it. And I'm going to tell you guys why. He got hurt so bad the first time he got caught flush with that left hook that he was never himself again. He was never able to recover from that. So he fought back. He was tough. He was, a warrior. But physically, his body was never the same. So now, that left hook kept catching him because he's already hurt. He don't have the wherewithal to avoid it. And that happens. Once you hurt, it's tough for you to now be defensively responsible when you're just trying to get it together. Underrated Will. Agent 17. Salute J. Smith. Salute Box Center fam. Salute my brother. Underrated Will. Nah, if you look at Devin versus Regis, he went toe-to-toe with him. But let Devin try to do that with Brian Norman. Dude has a chin and unpredictable. So look, here's the difference that you have to take into consideration, Underrated Will. Regis is considerably shorter and has a considerable reach disadvantage against Devin Haney. So as the taller guy with the technical abilities to exceed what Regis does, he can afford to go toe-to-toe with him. Got that range on him. Pop, pop, pop. Yo, Regis took hella punches at a range where he couldn't reach. You saw him swinging in the air because Devin was lumping him up from the perfect range. But it's different with Brian Norman Jr., bro, because Brian Norman Jr. is a big dude. That's why. Look at Lomachenko, right? Lomachenko was super competitive against Devin Haney. We all agree. Some people say Lomachenko won. I saw it again. I felt like Devin won that fight. But if you watch it, whether or not you felt like Devin won or lost, the fight was super competitive because Lomachenko was able to stay in his face consistently. So it made it, that type of fight, the ebb and flow, going back and forth. Agent 17, I look back at the Ryan and Haney fight, and Haney dodged every blind left hook. But when Ryan mixed it up with the 1-2 and the jab and then threw the hook, Haney fell for the trap. He kept getting caught in different ways because sometimes Ryan caught him with a lead hook. Bam! Just pulled it up there. It just, the first time he got hurt, he just could not recover from it. Corey B. I lost respect for fighters that use banned substances. See, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be an opinion. Some people are just going to focus about, oh, Devin got hit a lot, But you have to take everything into consideration and the fact that the results were overturned. It's a no contest. So if it's a no contest and we know why it's a no contest, that's it. Ain't nothing more to say here. That's a subject that we could skip, but if you want to bring it up, you have to bring up the result of why. You can't just bring up one part. Oh, he got beat up. Cool, okay. But we got to look at everything, not just that. JJ's in the house. Remember the old saying, J. Smith, don't hook with a hooker. Oh, they're going to hook you up with some light. Underrated Will. He's shorter than Devin and Reese shorter. I believe fight night, Haney going to be heavier than Norman. Whoa. Hold on, who told you that Brian Norman Jr. is shorter, bro? Brian Norman Jr. 5'10", bro. Have you not seen the face-off? Brian Norman Jr. 5'10". I don't think he got shorter reach either. He definitely not shorter than Devin. Brian Norman Jr. is big, bro. He a big dude. Look, where's my other phone, man? I'm gonna show you a picture of Brian Norman Jr. facing off with Devin. Nah, bro. Brian Norman Jr. is a big dude, my guy. He 5'10". Look it up. Brian is 5'8". You sure of that? Damn, in the face-off, he look bigger, man. He look bigger than Devin. I know Devin is 5'9". And that's how I came up with 5'10". Nah, Google that, man. I'm not buying it. Google it. Google Brian Norman Jr. height, my peoples. Underrated Will. Nah. I don't believe it. What, he did the face-off, he was wearing Timberlands or something? Google it. I did. So Brian Norman Jr. is 5'8". I'll take it. If you're telling me he's 5'8", age of 17, he's 5'8", you got corroborated. JJ's in the house. Here comes Jay Smith with the facts. That's why I like your channel. My peoples, you guys know what it is. I'm not trying to... If you tell me the fact, I'm rocking with you right there. We like to verify. We like to fact check everything. Brian Norman Jr. is still the power puncher. But listen. You know underrated Will. Everybody else, I'm still not making a prediction. I haven't been able to make it, but I will. I will make that prediction. Before the weigh-in. But okay, underrated Will. Who you got winning the fight? Go ahead, underrated Will. Who you got winning the fight? Don't duck it now. Don't duck it. Put it out there. Who y'all got winning the fight? Let's predict both of these joints. Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. Who you got? Teofimo Lopez. And Shakur Stevenson. Who you got? Underrated Will. Brian. I like the dude. Okay, you got Brian Norman Jr. putting the baits on Devin. How about Shakur and Teo? Easy Roman. I got Norman knockout second round. Golly. That type of destruction, bro, is going to be, he going to wash him? That's an easy prediction to make, bro. I understand people predicting the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 10th. The second round? Bro. Underrated Will got Shakur Stevenson putting the beats on Teofimo Lopez. MS, damn. That would take PEDs. For a second, listen, man. You can't say that because Brian Norman Jr., he a clean fighter. He never been involved in no type of situation that nobody could say nothing. If he knocked Devin Haney out, it's going to be a clean knockout. But all that stuff about a second round knockout, my peoples, I don't know. I don't know about no second round knockout. I don't see it that way. I see a very competitive fight where somebody could get caught slipping, make a mistake. Things could happen in boxing, but it's gonna be a competitive fight. I don't see Devin Haney getting washed in 2 rounds. Underrated Will. Very well-rounded young man. Listen, and think about both of these fights. Everybody elite level and in their late 20s. Nobody here is even close to being past their prime or people being able to say that they washed. None of that. All of them, 27 years old, 28 years old. Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, both 28, 29 around there. And then the same thing with Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. Both in their late 20s. Easy Roman. Norman ain't playing with him. He's going to put pressure on him. it won't go past 4 rounds. I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that early. Because you're telling me that Brian Norman Jr. is not going to play with him. Well, come on now. Let's not act like Devin Haney's just no regular Joe. Devin Haney's not going to play with him either, my guy. I need you to understand that. You're going to see that footwork. You're going to see that jab. You're going to see that counter punch. You're going to see... You're also going to see some Devin Haney shit up in there. So, if you're thinking Brian Norman's going to go in there and wash him and boom, 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 beat him up, it's going to be something coming back at him, bro. MS. That's what I see happening, but Devin may buy himself some more rounds by moving around and jabbing, but only to delay the inevitable. Damn, man, I got Devin getting slapped. Underrated Will. I see the pressure Brian Norman can take a punch, and like I said, Dev will be running. Do you guys think it's actually a knockout or Dev goes to sleep? Like, when I say, my bad, TKO, like, you know, the referee jumping in and stopping it, he getting beat up, or does he go to sleep? Boom, like, because Brian Norman Jr. has put some people to bed. MAW, yo, salute Jay in chat. Just popped in to smash that like button. Off to best. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a good night. It's morning time over here. Izzy, between Teo and Shakur, I got Shakur. Yeah, that's how I have it too. I mean, nobody's going to beat Shakur. Nobody beats him. Underrated Will. Stop it. So Devin Haney just out there getting lumped up? Damn, bro. What's going on out here? That's what I'm telling you. A lot of people judging Devin for that loss or for that fight with Ryan Garcia. Why y'all got somebody who ain't never lost in his life getting knocked out? Zay, what's the #1 fight in boxing to be made? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question right there. The #1 fight in boxing to be made. What you guys think? You guys put it out there. I really have to think about it because there's some real good fights out there, man. I'm going to tell you what. I don't have to think about it. #1 fight, Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. There you have it. There you have it. Shakur Stevenson. Is boxing alive or dead? You're going to need a 24-hour break for that question. Figure it out. Google what's going on. Look at the big fights. And then come back tomorrow with your own answer. But, like I said, my peoples, I got both of these fights being very competitive. Potentially, they can both go the distance. And in fact, they might have to run it back in both fights. Because if it's super competitive, it could turn into that. It could turn into a rematch or even a trilogy kind of thing. JJ Sanders, I think Haney doesn't have the power to keep Norman honest. Norman will be in the kitchen all night. I mean, Lomachenko was in the kitchen all night. Made a very competitive fight. So I expect that from Brian Norman Jr. as well because he got that type of athleticism. Underrated Will. Only because Devin called Ryan a C-level fighter. And like Tim said, Dev don't respect his opponent. And what I see in Brian about serious business. No, look, man. Brian Norman Jr. is about serious business. I got to agree with you on that. But when it comes to what goes down inside that ring, when it comes to training camp, when it comes to conditioning, Devin Haney's also about that business, bro. He's been about that business. You got to also respect what he brings to the table. MS, J. Smith, the path I see Devin winning is fighting at distance all 12. He will make it a boring fight, but it's almost a sure win for Devin. If he decides to trade fire with Norman, Lord help us. What if Devin Haney is able to win the exchanges on the inside? What if he fights the same way Lamar Roach fought Tank Davis. And I'm not saying the whole fight. I'm just saying when use his footwork, move around, and then when they close that gap, win the exchanges. Agent 17, welcome to the block party. That's what happens. Ask stupid questions, win stupid prices. Underrated Will. Devin telling Norman anybody can be champion tells me Devin don't know what he getting into. Nah. I think that's part of the trash talking. That's part of the psychological warfare. Devin knows what Brian brings to the table. You know, but when we there, right there, going back and forth, fighters are going to do that. They're going to try to trash talk you. They're going to try to get you out your game. Because I tell you what, the best you can do to a fighter, and it happens, we've seen it a lot, and people just don't acknowledge it. But the best thing that you could do before a fight is actually get a fighter like really upset, like personally upset. Like this one. Because that's when you can get him out his game in the ring. Instead of actually following the game plan that they put together, he now turns it into a fight. He want to fight you and hit you. And that could give you an advantage right here. Tarzan Rose, how do you think Virgil versus Boots plays out? I think that's another fight that's very competitive. They go back and forth. The ebb and flow. But Boots has a lot more in his bag of tools. And because of that, I say he wins that fight. He got it. Boots gonna... But it's not going to be an easy fight by any means. I know people love to predict, oh, he's going to knock him out, or the other guy's going to make it look easier. No. I expect that to be the toughest fight in Boots' career, the toughest fight in Virgil's career. But I see Boots coming out on top. Agent 17, do you think Jake Paul is the face? You need a timeout. Actually, that's how we doing it. That's how we doing it. Block party mode. Izzy Roman. I'm not taking anything away from Devin, but I'm sure he's a great fighter. Definitely knows how to box. The guy has a lot of skills, and his boxing IQ is insane. But this ain't 135, 140. That's a real good talking point. How is he gonna hold up at 147? Because when Ryan put all type of hands on him, I was at 140. Now we're going to see it. You know, he's making his debut in the welterweight division versus arguably the hardest puncher in the division. We could say that about Brian Norman Jr. So how does this play out? How is Devin Haney? It's legit to question it. But when we look at his skills and we look at Brian Norman Jr., skill for skills, they both right there. The only edge that I'm giving Brian Norman Jr. is power. I'm giving him the edge in power because for obvious reasons. But when we talk about skill for skill, when we talk about the jab, the counter punching, the movement, they both right there at that level, at the highest level. So Brian Norman Jr. is going to have the edge in power. Devin Haney is going to have the edge in footwork. Don't get it twisted. I'm not diminishing Brian Norman Jr.'s footwork. Top notch. Just like Devin Haney hands is top notch, but Norman got more power than him. That's a fact. So they both have their own edge. But when it comes to the physical hardware, when you take away the power, they're both at the highest level. So it's going to boil down to that power against that defense. Which one is going to be able to dictate how it plays out? Underrated Will. Devin's in the lab working on speed first against Norman. Trust me. Izzy Roman. And he's fast, bro. I mean, but they're both fast. They both got speed. Tony L. I believe Devin can win the exchanges because he has way faster hands. And Norman hold his hands low. But if Norman can get to Devin's body early, I believe that he'll stop him late. You see, that's reasonable. If he can work him to the body and slow him down, it could be disastrous for Devin. Disastrous. JJ's in the house. Jay Smith, get him the F out of here. Just do boxing. Keep cooking. You know how we do, my G. You know how we do it. JJ's in the house. Jay Smith. Haney better have 2 bites that night because Norman will catch him. He's not like Ramirez. All right, look, but something that you have to consider. Norman doesn't necessarily have to catch him flush. He might catch him, but not with that shot that it takes to actually get him out of there or hurt him. Let me give you guys a scenario that can actually play out. I want you to please consider this. What happens if Devin Haney is ahead on the cards, right? They get to the championship rounds. He's ahead on the cards. He's been outboxing them. Round number 11, towards the end of round number 11. Boom! Brian Norman Jr. knocks him down. Devin Haney gets up. Time runs out. Now they got a whole round to go. Devin is ahead on the cards. Here's the magic question. Do you think that Devin Haney has the skills to run out the clock on that 12th round while Brian Norman Jr. trying to knock him out? Do you think he has the skills to say, okay, this round I just need to survive? Whether it's clinching, moving, do you think Brian Norman Jr. is going to catch him if they find themselves in that scenario? John Parham, I got Norman at 9, but Dev looks good. He looks good, man. It's hard to go against him. Underrated Will, yeah, for sure. Track star Dev. MS, yup, he do. Devin can run. If Norman knocks him down, he's smelling blood. He not trying to go down again. But this is what I'm saying. I refer to you guys to the Linares fight. Remember how bad Linares hurt Dev? Like literally wobbling to his corner. Wobbling. Dancing salsa. Romeo Santos type of shit. Walking to his corner. And after that moment, Brian Norman, Jose Ramirez, no, Linares was not able to land a single big shot. That was it right there. No more big punches for you, buddy. So Devin Haney was 1 or 2 punches away from going to sleep. But Linares couldn't land those 1 or 2 punches. Couldn't land those punches. So if Devin Haney finds himself ahead on the card and he get hurt late, is he going to be able to run out the clock to walk out of there with a W? Let that sizzle in your spirit. So, let me say this. To the people that say Brian Norman Jr. is going to knock him out, right? John Parham, you say Brian Norman Jr. is going to knock him out. Do you think he's going to be dominating the fight leading up to the knockout? Or it's going to be a close fight and eventually he's going to land a big shot? Tony T, he showed that running in his last fight. I mean, to be honest, I think that was a good idea to have that type of fight because he's coming off of Ryan Garcia, and that was a pummeling session. He got pummeled. Okay, the results was overturned, but he took a lot of nasty shots. So I don't think it was beneficial to him to come back to his first fight after that and take a lot of punishment, take a lot of punches, trying to look good. So I think health-wise, that was the best fight to make. That's my opinion. JJ's in the house. I'm putting my money on Norman. Remember, Box Center family, only bet when you can afford to lose. Hey, listen, those are wise words, man. Wise words. Don't be, look at all them people that bet on Canelo, but they couldn't lose. You see, you put money on Canelo like that, not listening, took a nasty L right there. Nasty L. But I digress. My peoples, these are the 2 fights, man, right now that I'm super excited about. But don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We might get Jerron Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. Don't get that twisted. John Parham, well, I got 1K on Norman in 9. Ooh, by stoppage. Ooh. Or you trying to flip your money. You're not trying to get entertained, John Parham. You trying to flip your money. That's different right there. John Parham, you win some, you lose some. MS, Norman Jr. will be forced to box and move unlike ever before. Similar to how Bivol made Better BF get out his comfort zone. Always waiting for the right moment to land big shot. But Norman will win. Bro, listen. I'm still not able to make a prediction. I feel you. I understand you. Because Brian Norman Jr. got a lot that, the power, the speed, the skill set, the IQ. I know what he brings to the table, man. But I know what Devin bringing too. I know Devin is going to be performing at the highest level too. Corey B, that's too much money, John. Nah, that depends. I don't think, look, I'm going to say this. To me, that would be too much money. Matter of fact, yo, right now, I would say to me, anything over 500 is too much money right now. Man, there's no way. I'm not going over that. But there's people out there who 20,000 ain't nothing. So John Parham, he could handle that 1K. He could take that out. If need be, he could handle that out. Tony T, Norman has to make this a war. He has to stay close and bang Devin to the body and arms all night. He needs to cut off the ring and fight like Canelo. So I'm going to say this, Tony T. And hold on, because you're coming in hot. Hold on, baby. Tony T, do me a favor. Hold that wrench real quick, because you coming in too hard with that. Let me say this. If you look at Devin Haney versus Vasily Lomachenko, everything that you said is why that fight turned out to be as exciting as it was. Because think about it, Lomachenko has the athleticism and the punch output to stay in front of Devin Haney all night long. That's what made that fight so interesting. They went at it. But Devin wasn't able to dance around Lomachenko the way he did on Ramirez. Because this guy has that elite level footwork and the athleticism. This is the reason why you're going to see Brian Norman Jr. do what he do. This is the reason why. Brian Norman Jr. is going to be in his face all night long. Devin's not going to be able to dance around him. So, just like with Lomachenko, you're going to see him trading. You're going to see him exchanging. You're going to see him win some of those exchanges, lose some of them. But it's all about, can Brian Norman Jr. land that big shot? That one that's going to change everything in his favor. Because does he has the skill to outbox Brian Norman Jr.? I think so. I think he has the skills to outbox him. But Norman Jr. is just that nice too that we don't know. That's why I say I think so. Norman Jr. can box. And he can bang. And I know that he's going to press the action. He's going to press him. John Parham, we got to see a different Brian. We're going to see a different Brian. I know that he's expecting to have to chase Devin Haney. He's preparing for that. And he's going to be in Devin Haney's face all night long. I know that he's going in there planning to stop him. His pops already said, yo, we stopping him. If it's fair, we stopping him. And I'm quoting Brian Norman Sr. They trying to knock Devin Haney out. But can I count Devin Haney out that easily and just make my prediction? Oh, Norman Jr. going to knock him out. And he said he will. I can't do that, my peoples, because I know what Devin brings to the table. I know what he can do, too. Side, Norman is going to be more motivated than ever. He definitely trained harder than ever for this fight. Haney has to be ready for that type of energy. No, listen. Just look at the run that Brian Norman Jr. been on. And for a moment, let's just forget about the opponents, because people right away want to drill on the opponents. Oh, they not that good. Oh, they not that good. There was the guys that was put in front of him. Now he got Devin. He said it himself. Y'all said that about them. We got Devin now. And he is great. That's right. What you going to say now? So he's going to have the opportunity to show that he is who he been saying he is. Tell you what, whichever one of them wins, whether it's Norman Jr. or Devin Haney, you're going to see him on the pound-for-pound list the next day. The very next day, they on the pound-for-pound. I think Devin, is Devin on it? I'm not sure if Devin, I don't think he's on it, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll see both of them. One of them will join the pound-for-pound list the very next day, if neither one is on it right now. Easy Roman, Devin will not stay in the pocket. That's why I know Brian said, we ready to chase him down. They ready for that. They ready. But you just never know, man. You just never know. Like I said, what if Devin Haney catch everybody by surprise and fight Norman Jr. the same way Lamar Roach fought Tank Davis? John Pound, hopefully Norman don't gas out. Honestly, I don't think that's going to happen, just because the type of conditioning that he's always been on. I don't know, man. I think he's going to be ready to put it all out there. And Devin is, like I said, man, it's hard for me to go against him because I know what he brings to the table, skills-wise. Side, Devin is on the low end of the top 10 right now, I think. I think he was like 8, 9, and I don't know if he had dropped off or they put him back in. But this win right here is going to be huge for either guy. Huge win. Saad, do you think Norman is making a mistake by banking on a KO? I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. I would say he's putting it out there so that everybody knows these are my intentions. And he's standing on it. He's standing on it. Like, I'm going to knock you out. I want everybody to know, so when it happens, we could go back and I say, you see, I told y'all I was going to knock him out. You could stand on it if you feel confident. But that doesn't mean that he's not going there to try to win the fight, that he's only going to be focused. You know, this is a championship caliber fighter, a world champion, a reigning champion. He knows what it takes, and he understands. No matter what he's telling me and you on social media, on camera, he understands that this fight could go the distance and he would have to win on the cards. But y'all know my intentions. I'm going out there to knock him out. That's what he's trying to do. Side, I heard a rumor Norman Jr. has bug KOs on his feet, bug KO on his feet in sparring. He got power. You know, those rumors, especially, listen, when you hear a rumor about Crawford that has him on the losing end, just don't believe it automatically, because I promise you, those are the rumors from the people that said Canelo's going to knock him out and stuff like that. So don't even take it into consideration. Easy Roman, I definitely subscribe. I'll be coming around more often. I love talking boxing, but the best man win on the 22nd. Izzy Roman, I appreciate it, my brother. Bam. And by the way, Izzy, check this out. Box Center 2.0. It's a new channel. Right now it has about 29 subscribers. I'm waiting to get to 50 subscribers because we're going to start a brand new show. Just like we got Boxing for Breakfast in the morning, there's going to be an evening show. And on that show, there's going to be an open line. So people are going to be able to call in, give you your opinion. Trash talking is allowed. You know, none about politics or religion. But if it's boxing, trash talking is allowed. We're going to be going at it. People are going to have a minute to express themselves on the phone, on speaker. And it's going to be crazy. So subscribe to that channel. Everybody tuning in, subscribe to that one. Just waiting to get to 50 subscribers to start the new show. It is going to be lit, y'all. I promise. Tony T, the difference between Loma and Norman is the elite head movement and impeccable footwork of Loma. Norman has to stay close and bang. He will be getting hit. Listen, that's what made it so difficult for me to make that prediction. That I know that Devin Haney is going to use the movement and catch Brian Norman Jr. closing the gap, you know, set him up to counterpunch him. There's a lot that Devin brings to the table. So I don't understand how come people say, oh, Brian Norman Jr. is just going to wash him. I don't see that at all. At all, bro. Corey B., do you think there's a possible draw? That's a possibility. Yes. When you have two guys that are both at the highest level, yes, that is a possibility. It could be a fight that boils down to the championship rounds. Like, by the time they finish the 10th, we might not know who's ahead on the cards. Some people are going to be like, nah, B. Norman Jr. got it. Some going to say, nah, I think Devin got it. It could be that type of fight. Who wants it the most in those championship rounds? It could boil down to that. Easy Roman, what's the channel again? It's, my peoples, can somebody put the link up? It's Box Center the same way, but 2.0. I think if you look for it, it'll come up. Sometimes channels, when they don't have that many subscribers, they don't pop up. But I think it'll come up. Box Center 2.0, just like that. JJ's in the house. God bless Jay Smith and the Box Center family. Have a good day, everyone. I have to go to work. Salute, my brother. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in. John Parham, not having 50 subs already is disrespectful. Man, I can't believe it, bro. Come on. I can't get to 50 subscribers, man. Please, my people. Let's make that happen. Because that show is going to be crazy. That show is going to be crazy. I promise y'all. JJ's in the house. Jay Smith. I will talk to you on Instagram later. Don't know if you seen what I wrote you yesterday. When I got to Idaho, oh, Thanksgiving, my daughter's going to help me send you some. Oh, okay. I didn't see it, but I think I did. I may have even responded, but I'll check you out. Izzy Roman, got you. Salute, homie. Catch you the next one, brother. Yo, appreciate you dropping in, my G. Bam. Side, Box Center 2.0. That's where it's at, my peoples. It's good. Listen, I'm going to put it to you like this. I need you to understand something. The main reason I created Box Center 2.0 is because the concept for the show that I'm going to have, I don't know if that shit's going to get blocked from YouTube. I don't know if YouTube is going to let me rock, because we're going to be out there cursing each other out and everything. So I don't know if YouTube is going to let me rock. So I'm like, you know what? Let me not put that show on this channel, because I don't want to get the whole channel taken down over the goddamn show. So that's why, that's the concept. You know what? Let me make a whole new channel. We're going to start the show, and we're going to go at it. We're really going to go at it. And let me see if YouTube is going to let us rock. That's all I got to say, my people. So subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Let's get to 50 subscribers, and we're going to get it popping quick. John Parham, Jay Smith, you getting a bag of potatoes. I mean, it is from Idaho. It is from Idaho. And I got to say, JJ, you know, I never had potatoes from Idaho, just in case. My peoples, listen. Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Boost Ennis. You guys saw that they was in the ring together and all that. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a little bit disappointed in Virgil. I'm a little bit disappointed in Virgil Ortiz. Yes, sir. And I got to tell you, before I say why I'm disappointed in Virgil, he's my guy. He's one of my favorite fighters. I got a lot of respect for him, all that. But I'm a little bit disappointed in Virgil Ortiz. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I'm going to tell you guys why I'm disappointed. You guys saw the way that he was like, Boots, come over here. And Boots went over, and they had that exchange in the ring, which I love the exchange. Like, damn, Virgil Ortiz and Boots, they sharing the ring. They talking about fighting each other. And Virgil's like, so is that a yes? Is that a yes? And Boots like, yo, Eddie, come get that paperwork, man. Like, you could see, or it appears that they really want that smoke with each other. But then Virgil goes to the post-fight press conference talking about, oh, a dream fight with Arrow. What you talking about, a dream fight with Arrow? A dream fight with Arrow, and if Crawford want to come back to 154, and like, why you calling all these other names when you just got off the ring? You was with Jerome Bruce Ennis talking about we'll fight each other. So to me, it's almost like you're trying to duck that fight. That didn't make no sense to me, my peoples. Wes Dustin, salute, my brother. I'm saying that I'm kind of disappointed. Christopher, salute, my G. I'm kind of disappointed in Virgil Ortiz because Boots climbed the ring. They go back and forth. Verbally, look like they even agreeing to fight. Virgil's like, is that a yes? And Boots like, what? Yo, Eddie, get the paperwork. It looking like they both ready for that smoke. And then Virgil goes on the press conference talking about his dream fight is Errol Spence. Errol been inactive for 2 years. And he want to fight Crawford. Crawford say he's not going back to 154. Oh, if Crawford come down, we could do that. But Crawford already told us that he's not going back down to 154. He already told Johnny Beck, I'm trying to fight you. What are you talking about if Crawford come to 154? So Virgil Ortiz went on that presser and started calling out a bunch of other names and wanting to fight a bunch of other people. Like, why you not talking about Boots? So if the fight doesn't happen right now, I'm going to feel like Virgil's ducking him. You see how things play out? First, people were saying it's Boots. Oh, it's Boots. Boots ducking. Boots ducking. My man's went to your fight, climbed the ring, told you in your face, I'm going to beat your ass. What's up? Right in his face. And Virgil going to step off to that presser talking about, oh, Arrow is, a dream fight for me. Man, Arrow been inactive for 2 years. Why you calling him out for? What are we doing? I'm not feeling that. Young Guns, Oscar got in his ear. Yo, but Oscar's the one that's saying that he'll beat up Boots. And that it was Eddie Hearn, the one ducking that fight. Wes Dustin, Virgil talking like he on the back door. Bro, as soon as I heard Virgil talking about other names, I thought that shit was weird as hell. Weird as hell. I'm like, huh? Yo, but what just happened? You just came off the ring telling this dude, what's up, let's do this. And now you go in front of the cameras like, yeah, I'll fight anybody and I want to fight. You name all the guys that you want to fight, and Boots wasn't even one of them. Boots is like, oh, I'll fight him. Boots is kind of like the way it came off to me. It's like, oh, Boots, I'll fight him if I have to. I'll fight him. But Errol Spence fighting him, it's my dream. And even Terrence Crawford, if he comes down to 54. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't get it. I was disappointed in Virgil with that. Wally Ahmad, what's up, bro? I've been waiting on your take on Saturday Night Fight. Bad look for Virgil. You think it's a bad look the way he won on Lubin? Or, he beat the crap out of Lubin, did what he was supposed to do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something, Wally. I expected this fight to go the distance. I expected for them, not necessarily to go the distance, but to go at least 9 rounds. I said Virgil stop him in the 9th or the 10th, and before you know it, he exploded on him the 2nd round. So he did what he was supposed to do in the ring, but to me it was a bad look the way that Virgil started calling out all these other names when you just have Boots in front of your face, and you even told him, is that a yes for a fight? Is that a yes? Like, you in the ring acting like you want to fight this dude. And then you get off the ring and start calling out other people. You don't look like you want to fight. They don't look like you want that action. And the thing is that Boots, he was laser sharp, focused on Virgil. I want you. Let's do it. What's good? I'm going to beat you. In his face, bro. In his face. And you're going to get off the ring and start talking about other people that you want to fight and that it's your dream fighting this guy that been inactive for 2 years. I'm not feeling that. And Virgil, like I said, he's one of my guys, one of my favorite fighters. I'm not feeling that part, though. MS, Virgil Sr. said Boots shouldn't be worrying about Virgil. He has a lot of big names to prove himself through at 154 first. But if Boots wants to pass to Virgil, he needs to pay up some good money. That's called duck language, in my opinion. That's called duck language. We're going to play the I'm a star and you're going to pay up. That's duck language. Because Virgil beating Boots, that would be a huge win. I'm going to remind you that Boots is more accomplished. Boots a unified champion. Virgil never been a champion. That would be a huge win for Virgil. That would be the biggest win of his career and the biggest payday of his career. But, you know, if they want to overprice themselves, if they want to get themselves out of that fight, that's how you do it. Soon as you hear somebody like, oh, it's about the money, they got to pay. Remember when Crawford wanted to fight everybody at PBC when he was at the welterweight division? What was their language? Keith Thurman was like, oh, they got to pay. They got to pay. Danny Garcia, they got to pay that money. We got to see that money. Sean Paul, yo, we making money over here. They got to pay. Everybody was talking about they got to pay. You're just getting out the fight. That's it. Young Guns, I heard they won $10 million to fight Boots. I seen something like that. But $10 million is probably something that those two fighters will be able to generate in Texas. I'm not saying just in the stadium, or the stadium is going to generate some big money. That thing might sell out in Texas. They promote it right, it could sell out. So imagine they fight in Texas and on Netflix, or, you know, you put it, oh, well, it's going to be on the Zone. It's going to be on the Zone. Yeah, Golden Boy's on the Zone. Boost is on the Zone. Matchroom is on the Zone. But that's, you know, honestly, it's hard for me to say what amount of money is right because I don't know what type of numbers that will do in pay-per-view. But I believe that they could both make a lot of money and they need to make that fight. And if they don't fight, it's because Virgil's side, they don't want to fight. They don't want that Boots action. Wes Dustin, I'm surprised at this. This kind of action is why people rock with Turkey. He pushes the big fights. Oscar tripping. That's it. They're gonna overprice Virgil. So you see how quick the narrative changes. Just a few days ago, people was talking about Boots, and Boots don't want Virgil, and Boots is only there for clout. Now they're gonna price themselves out. I want 100 million gajillions. Come on, man. Wally Ahmad. No, the fight was good for Virgil, not after. You can't say, come here, Boots, then talk about fighting other fighters. That's a bad look. I agree with you 100%. That's exactly what I've been saying. It looks like you only call Boots over to have that moment, that clout, that, oh. But right after it, you literally started talking about her fighting Errol Spence. It's your dream fight, and that's the one that you want. Huh? And you mentioned all these other fighters. I agree with you 100%. It's not a good look at all. Wes does it. These two are number one and number two at 154. Maybe Oscar wants to build it more. Maybe wait till they both get a belt at 154. I don't know. What other reason the delay would be? I'll tell you what's the other reason. They don't want Virgil to take an L to keep building them. Because you know, especially in this era, when you take an L, your stock take a stumble right away. Of course, you could climb back up with another big win right away. But if you take 4 months to fight or 5 months to fight, your stock is down for that 5 months. And then you get a win and then your stock go back up. They don't want to take that stumble. They don't want to take that speed bump in Virgil's career. They want to keep it trending with the W's. And they know Boots is going to dish them an L. Listen, that's what you do when it's like, damn, we might lose. We need a lot of money. You're going to beat us, give us an amount of money that we ain't never seen. It be that way. And that's how you get out of a fight. MS, Turkey needs to keep him on this one. To step in on this one. Let's see. Because I think with that TKO boxing, we're gonna see slowly but surely Turkey distance himself from the other promoters. So although we seen him working with Golden Boy, we're seeing him working with Matchroom, but I think he's gonna start focusing on Dana and the TKO League, and that thing is already gonna kick off with a bad rap, man. Because Dana White now with the UFC, they got that investigation going on with the fixing fights, done allegedly fixed over 100 fight outcomes. So, you know, that's already a bad look for that TKO League. Like, oh shit, that's how y'all doing it these days? Y'all fixing these fights? And y'all gonna bring in all, well, I'm not even gonna say that. Let's see how that all plays out. Corey B, nobody should be calling out Errol Spence. I don't even understand it, bro. This guy's been out of boxing for 2 years, said that he's retiring. And even worse, Corey B, how you gonna be calling the dude out in a division he ain't never even fought, bro? Last fight at welterweight. And you're 154-pounder calling him out when he ain't even fight there yet? Come on, man. Like, to me, that was so weak. Weak. Side, Errol should fight Charlo, you see? And I'm going to tell you why I don't have a problem with Errol and Charlo. Because they both been inactive. See? If you take two fighters who both been inactive and they fight each other, I'm okay with that. Have at it. Y'all both coming off of inactivity. Why are you going to take Virgil and match him up with Errol to make his debut at that division versus a young boy like that? That's crazy. Like, shame on you, Virgil, for calling out Errol. Especially having Boost right there in front of you. Come on now. Also, for Errol, you're not going to ask for 10 mils? You want to call him out of his inactivity. So, I'm always rocking with Virgil, one of the best young fighters in the game. And you guys seen that the narrative was previously that Boost was ducking him. Well, what you have to say now? What do we have to say now? Who's ducking who? Is Jerome Boost Ennis really ducking Virgil? That's why I told people, listen, we always judge boxers for the last situation that they involved in. So people the moment Boost announced that it was going to be a tune-up, they rained on him with the hate. Y'all peeped that, right? He a cherry picker. He ain't fighting nobody. He clout chasing. He not trying to fight no Virgil. Well, now he goes to the fight, climbs the ring, says, I'm going to beat your ass. To Virgil's face. He like, yeah, y'all been doing all that talking. What's up? Like, on him. Yo, he didn't even take off the hoodie. He didn't even take off the hoodie. Boost was in the ring looking like a bully. Bullying him. Like, what's up? So it's like Virgil almost got pressured into saying, yeah, I'll fight you. What's up? Yeah, I'll fight you. What's up? As soon as he got in front of a camera, yeah, I want to fight Errol. And if Crawford come down back to 154. Remember, we all seen Terrence Crawford say he's not going down to 154. We all seen him calling out Johnny Beck and say he going to 160. So what is you doing talking about you want to fight this guy who's been inactive for 2 years and this guy who's never going back down to 154? You want to fight Usyk too if he come down to 154? John Parham, Ortiz seemed confident to me. I didn't see that confidence. I'm going to tell you why I didn't see that confidence, John Parham. I'm going to tell you why I didn't see that confidence. In fact, I saw him defensive. When Boost said, y'all was talking all that shit, what's up? Your team was talking. It's that time already. Let's get it. The response John Parham I thought I was going to get was, we ready for that. What's up? You good? But you know what was his response? Oh, you know, your team started it first. We was just retaliating. Your team started it first. And Boost like, whatever, it's time. What's up? What's good? And Virgil kept saying, nah, because they started talking first and we just retaliated. You sound like you copping please, John Parham. You over here copping please. Who gives a fuck who started it first? Me and you right here, right now. What's really good with you? So it's like Boost is trying to give him that action. Like, what's up? And Virgil keep clinging up to nines. Y'all started it. Y'all, I don't give a damn who started it. To me, I'm just giving you my take. To me, he looked weak right there. Because he never pressed the action like he want that smoke too. Like Boost was on him like, what's up? Is that what's up? And told him, I'm going to beat you. And he kept being defensive, responding like, you ain't going to do nothing over here. You ain't going to do nothing over here. What you going to do, bro? So, and I'm going to say what? Virgil Ortiz doesn't come across like a good trash talker. So I think Boots won that exchange because of that. Boots can talk his ass off. I heard that he be talking during the spars. Nope. And I seen some footage. Nope. Nope. Oh, what you doing? So Boots a talker. Virgil isn't. No problem with that. No problem with the way that exchange played out because he's not a talker like that. But for him to start calling out other fighters right after that, he looked goofy as hell to me. That was some goofballery type shit right there. West does it. Charlo versus Spence would be dope. I would love to see that fight. And you see, that fight can happen right away. Them two, bam. Because like I said, they both coming off of inactivity. They both elite level fighters. They'll both have a good training camp. And we can expect a good fight from them. Love to see that fight. West does it. A healthy Charlo wins on points. You got to see, man, because Arrow, you know what Arrow brings to the table. Side, Charlo has definitely took less punishment. I favor him over Spence at this point. You know what? Taking into account that Errol Spence was a welterweight fighter before, exiting or a career welterweight fighter. And Mel Charlo, a 154-pounder who moved up, but he's a 154-pounder. Physically bigger guy, I think he has to have the edge. They're both elite level fighters, but Charlo the bigger guy who has taken less punishment. That is true. Side, Errol was punishing him in sparring though. So Spence might know how to get to Charlo. And that's a good point of view. That's a good point of view. However, you know that Father Time is undefeated. So Errol Spence might not have the same speed, might not have, he might be a step slower and might not be able to land those punches that he was landing back then. So we have to see how it plays out. But I think that's a fight we're all excited about. Everybody wants to see that fight. That's all I'm saying. Ali Ahmad, Lubin doesn't look the same after the Fondora and Charlo KO. He was on his heels from the start. I worry that this is the same fate for Devin Haney. So, and I said this yesterday on the Rise podcast. I think that I want to see Lubin fight like a step-down fight to see how that plays out. It's a lower-level opponent going to dominate him, and I think that's when it's time to say, okay, Lubin is done. And I'm only saying that, Wally, because think about it. Look at the name he lost, the people he lost to. Charlo and Fondora, two of the best champions of this generation. And then now he lost to Virgil Ortiz. Probably going to be one of the best of his generation when they start taking over. So he's losing to guys that are going to beat 9 out of 10 opponents or all of them. So I want to see if Lubin steps down and he get beat or he get washed, then it's like, okay, it's time to call it a day. But if you think about it, if he take a step down fight and he win in spectacular fashion, knock the guy out, all of that stuff, a contender, a high-ranking fighter, there's going to be people right away jumping in the bandwagon. Lubin is back. Lubin is looking good. Oh, my God, he'll be the champion now. So I don't want to judge him based off off of just the loss to Virgil Ortiz, one of the best young fighters of this generation. But he did get beat up pretty bad. He did get stopped, quickly and swiftly. So we got to see. We got to see where Lubin goes from here. We got to see how it plays out. My peoples, let me remind you, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. A special show is going to be on this. Special show. I had to create a whole new channel in case YouTube is going to block me because, we're not going to be on some communicating like this. It's going to be a little bit more fiery, let's just say. Corey B, what do you think about Rolly versus who? Shakar Gyasov? I can't pronounce that name, man. I hate mispronouncing names. I have to look them up. Honestly, I don't know that fighter. So it's hard for me to, go against Rollies when we're talking about a fighter I don't know. So automatically, I'm leaning towards Rollies because I feel like if you was better than him, like to beat him, I would have heard of you. But you never know. When you never heard about a guy, that's how you get caught off guard. Like, a la Bakra Mortasaliev off guard. Marie De Bruyne. I can't see Devin winning this fight. Although I hope he wins. He my brother. But Brian Norman Jr. is way better than Ryan. More powerful. Better footwork. Better athleticism. I hope Dev proved me wrong. I expect a tough fight. I expect a competitive fight. I even went as far as saying that this can boil down to the championship rounds. Who wants it more? Who's going to take those? Because Devin Haney's that good. I feel like people are disrespecting him over what happened with Ryan Garcia. That's one fight. That's just one fight. And I think it's going to be a super competitive showdown. And if it goes the distance, Devin Haney got a chance of winning that fight. He just got to be able to avoid that shot that's going to sleep him. Side, Rolly getting knocked out. Damn. Just like that. Side, Gyasov can box. Corey B, this is mandatory. I'm going to check him out. But Side talking about he will knock Rollies out. Damn. Buddy nice like that. John Pound, what is next for Norman if he wins? Well, if Brian Norman Jr. wins this fight, I think that the plan is going to be to pursue that undisputed crown in the welterweight division. I think the goal for him is to stay in that division for a few more years. He's not going anywhere no time soon. So that's why I say he's going to try to become undisputed and eventually move to 154. But he's going to be getting all the smoke at 147. He wants to be the guy. That's what I see from Brian Norman Jr. I'm the man, and there's no getting around it. There's no conversations around it. This is my division. I think he wants to be at that point. And after that, I see him going to 154. West Dust said the winner of this fight elevates to a serious pound-for-pound combo. Yeah, I was saying that earlier. The day after the fight, the winner is on the pound-for-pound list. The day after the fight. John Pound, Pop said he's staying at 147 for a minute. Yeah, he's going to be there for years. That's why I say the objective is going to be for them to become undisputed. Because remember, they was trying to get that fight with Boots, and they couldn't make it happen. So they was trying to unify titles. You're going to see that from Brian Norman Jr. He's trying to take over the division, grab all the titles, reign for I don't know how long, and then eventually go to 154. But he's going to stamp that 147. They're going to put that stamp in the division. And I'm telling you, right now, Brian Norman Jr. is the guy. He's the moment Boost left, Norman Jr. became the man in the welterweight division. There's no getting around that, my people. Accept it. Embrace it. And then there's this guy. at 154. Boots is probably the guy who has the best chance to beat Sebastian Fundora. What do you guys think about that? Fundora's gonna end up getting in the ring, maybe, right? Because you know the stuff about different labels, politics. But if the business doesn't get in the way of it, Fundora's gonna end up in the ring with Boots, or he's gonna end up in the ring with Virgil. It's just the inevitable. So if that happens, if Sebastian Fundora ends up in the ring with Boots, how do you guys think that fight plays out? Wes does it. Brad Norman talks like a future great. You can see him studying and getting better. I'm just not sure he's caught up to Devin's skill set, in my opinion. If he wins this one, no one stops him. Listen, Brad Norman Jr., if you see the way that he's moving and that old school mindset, like I really do want to get in the ring with everybody, he's trying to be one of those guys that you bring up when that conversation is being had about great fighters. He's trying to be that. That's why I say there's fighters that their only focus is I'm going to make money. And then there's fighters that's out there who really are trying to accomplish. Because remember, legacy and money have always ran together. Legacy and money always went hand in hand. It's now in this social media era that people think, oh, well, I gotta be separated. You know, he now on the best fights because he's chasing the legacy, the money. He's gonna chase the money instead. No. If you look historically, the guys who've been the best fighters were also the ones making the most money. If you look at Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, everybody, Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. Every time you think about the greats of their era, they were the ones making the most money. So Boots knows if he keeps winning, if he keeps accomplishing, he's going to be one of those guys. Brian Norman Jr., he knows if he keeps winning, if he keeps accomplishing, he's going to be one of those guys. The money's going to come regardless. It's going to come regardless. They're going to make that paper. Wally Ahmad, I agree. I believe Boots dominates Fundora. If Boots, his movement and angles right away. The reason I got Boots winning that fight is because of the speed and movement and footwork that he has. He's going to give Fundora all type of problems with those angles. Fundora's going to have to make a lot of adjustments to operate. So I see Boots winning that fight, but I don't think I see anybody else beating Fundora, because we have to also acknowledge, man, Fundora's on a run. And he's dangerous. He's dangerous. In fact, I'm going to say right now, Fundora is the guy in the 154 division. Because we believe in Boots, but he got to prove it. He got to show us. Right now, 154 is Fundora's division. MS, agree. Fundora's style and power will be less effective on Boots, and Boots can find a way into that big chin. John Parham, Norman, old soul. You see what he said? He a white tee and jean ninja. This is not modeling. That's what I'm talking about. You see when they asked him about the clothes, the drip that Devin Haney was wearing, we were like, man, I don't want to talk about that shit. I don't care what he's wearing. Trying to fight, trying to bait him up. And that's what it's really about. We're going to, listen, my peoples, this fight is going to be real entertaining to watch, because Brian Norman Jr. has the athleticism to stay in front of Devin Haney, but Dev has the skills to counterpunch, to fight back. It's just about whether or not he's going to be able to dodge that equalizer that Brian Norman Jr. got. That's what it's going to be about. John Parham, fight of the year, it could be a fight of the year type of candidate, because it could play out. Let me give you an example. And this goes we have a few fights coming up that are all candidates for Fight of the Year. Potential candidates. If you look at Teofimo, Lopez, and Shakur, if you look at Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney. Just like if Boots and Virgil happens, all three of those are potential fights of the year. If Boots get in there with Fondora, same deal. Big fights on the horizon. John Parham, I had Canelo and Bud at first until the outcome. It happens. It happens. It happens to the best of them, my G. My peoples. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. I really appreciate you guys. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Wally Amat, Eubank and Conor Ben can be a fight of the year as well. Well, the first one was to me fight of the year, I think. But I want to say this. Wally. Is Eubank Jr. going to fight the same type of fight, or is he going to resort more to his footwork this time around? I think the action could actually be slower on this one. If Eubank Jr. decides, I don't want to take that much punishment, I don't want to have to win that type of fight, I'm going to move a little bit more. It could be a little bit slower pace. But we know Conor Ben is going to press the action, so let's see how it works out. MS, Antonio Tarver had Lubin smoking Virgil. Damn, man. Hey, listen, like I said, people not going to get everyone right. It happens. The Magic Man is not a psychic. He gets most of them right, so you got to give him that. I don't know. I don't know why he went with Lubin. Maybe that's his people. Sometimes you cool with a fighter, you know him, and you want to rock with him. You want to support him. Maybe deep down inside, he knew Lubin was going to get lumped up, and he was supporting his boy in public. You never know. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. John Parham, MS, Wally Amat. Who else tuned in? Wes Dustin was in the building. Corey B. Marie De Bruyne. My peoples, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Y'all know what it is. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. And of course, remember, tomorrow, Boxing for Breakfast will be live at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking boxing. We're going to be doing what we do. Yo, one love to everybody who tuned in, man. One love to the exclusive members. I appreciate the support. Exclusive videos that are going to be dropping today. Check those out. Don't forget about Box Center 2.0, my peoples. One love to everybody. I'm getting the hell out of here. By the way, y'all know I'm giving you my all. I'm hungry as hell. Yo, you know what was my breakfast? 2 boiled eggs. That's it. I went running 4 miles. I'm hungry as hell, and I had 2 boiled eggs. And I got 20 likes in almost 2 hours of cooking. So salute to everybody who hit the like button. Salute to everybody who didn't hit the like button. But at the end of the day, Boxing for Breakfast is what it is because of you guys. Because you give your opinion. Because you don't all have to agree with me. Most of the times we agree. A lot of times we don't agree. But that's what this show is about. It's for you guys, and it's for me to go back and forth and do what we do. I'm out of here, my peoples. I'll see you tomorrow, man. One love. Bam. Hungry as hell, be goddamn.